I could tell you that I've had people who have lost a lot of body parts come through, and none of them really care about said body parts.
Somebody got to cue me, or do I cue myself?
Cue yourself.
Okay. This one's fascinating. It is fascinating. Not going to lie, our guest is a man who's brought comfort and closure to millions. Yes, millions of people. John Edward is a New York Times bestselling author. He's been on the forefront of the conversations about consciousness, intuition, and the undeniable human desire to connect with those we have lost. He's here to discuss his latest book, Chasing Evil. Jan.
I thought this was such an incredible book.
I'm so grateful that you turned me on to this book.
We've talked about it. Yeah. I feel like this should be.
Well, he told me some things.
Okay, so you'll.
No, he told me some things.
Okay, this is such an incredible story, and it kind of takes anybody who's a non-believer. It will actually really make you question. But he really helped solve some of the cold cases, which are, it's an extraordinary, the two working together, him and this FBI agent, which we'll get into.
Who was a big skeptic.
Yeah, it's just incredible what they did together and their partnership.
And he's going to give, who's he giving a reading to?
He'll read to each of us.
Did you bring a glass eye out?
I didn't bring a glass eye this time.
But Kel, how amazing was he on the show? He was on the show.
He was
And when
incredible.
he read that person in the audience, and here's the thing, she wasn't even the person we had selected for him to talk to.
Right.
She was just random.
Random, because it started coming through. It like literally started coming through, and it all like he knew about the first husband, the second husband. He died of sepsis. He went into all the kitchen renovation. I mean, it's wild.
And everything was, she said, 100% accurate.
That's what she said to me during commercial break, because she was so like stunned on the air. Like her mouth was hanging open. And I was like, is that accurate? Is it not accurate? Is it? And she just said, he's 100% accurate. Wow. And she was stunned.
So I have a story to tell you, because John was on the show a million years ago. We would have John on, a bunch of times. Right. And so we're going to go back to 2007. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm pregnant with Caden at the time, and Glenn's father just passed away.
I remember.
Okay. So I'm upstairs. I'm not even down at the studio. And Kelly Burkhart, who's close with my husband, called him. We lived a block away from the studio. And she said, why don't you come over? John's here. And you can talk to him about your dad. Mm-hmm. I did not know this was happening. John didn't know we were connected to each other. There was nothing going on. Okay?
No shenanigans.
No shenanigans. So Glenn comes over. Kelly Burkhart puts them in a green room together, and he starts telling Glenn about how he was looking at his dad's ties in the closet, which Glenn, the day before, was at his home looking at the ties. Mm-hmm. And he said, the tallest you're looking for is on the bottom shelf, which is what he was looking for the bris of Caden. Uh-huh. And he went to the bottom shelf and found it. Mm-hmm. Okay. He started talking to him about his mom, about all of these insanely accurate things. And the other thing that was super accurate is I had 2 miscarriages leading into Caden. Mm-hmm. And he told Glenn that your father is with these other 2 babies who just passed. And nobody knew that. Not Kelly Burkhart, no one. Wow. It was chilling. Glenn was floored.
I know this story because I've heard it so many times. For those of you listeners at home wondering who is Kelly Burkhart, she's the talent booker for Live with Kelly and Mark, and she's also the facelift recipient from Dr. David Rosenberg. And if you're wondering what a bris is a fun circumcision with wine and good pastry afterwards. Is that fair, Jan?
It's fair. It's very fair.
It's a way better circumcision
than the typical. An
unfun.
I don't know how fun it is for the baby, but it's fun for everybody else.
Well, the baby gets a little wine, right? Doesn't they put, right?
They suck on a little wine.
They suck on a little wine. Which is, I wasn't at your circumcision, Albert, but I'm certain that your mom.
I'm sure I didn't get any fucking wine at my circumcision.
No wine, and she probably used an old rusty can opener, if I had to guess. You know what I mean? Because they did one of those Brooklyn at-home circumcisions.
Oh, yeah, it was an at-home.
Yeah, on the plastic-covered couch.
The kitchen shears.
Yeah, with the plastic fruit. You didn't grow up in an Italian house until you learned that fruit was not plastic until your like teenage years when you went to your friend's house and they had fruit in a fruit bowl that was edible. You're like, you can eat that? not.
All right, wait, forgive me for being naive to the situation, but when you're not Jewish, is there any sort of ceremony or something for the cutting of the skin?
You don't even discuss it. It's
No,
not
it
to be
happens in the
discussed.
hospital. No one talks about
So
it. They
don't
feel
ask,
bad
don't
for
you?
the
They
kids.
feel bad. There's a lot of hush hush murmuring.
Wow.
Kyle still holds a grudge to his parents that they took his foreskin from him. He's still
Why, he would like to be uncircumcised?
He wants it back. He says it to his mother all the time.
Why?
He
Why
wants
is
his
that?
foreskin.
Wait, what's the reasoning for that? Does it make
He
sex more
believes that he was
pleasurable?
born that way, and it probably sex would be better. And he's mad. He's told you this. He's mad at his parents for taking away his foreskin.
Why
I
do
think
we
the
think-
foreskin probably impedes.
Yeah, why would you
That's
think it
what
makes
I
sex
would-
better?
I would think it would make it worse.
Maybe John could connect with his foreskin.
We're gonna have John. We're gonna ask John. We're gonna ask John.
If Kyle's foreskin misses him.
John, can you connect? Have you ever connected with a foreskin? Do you think he's going to be? Well, he's got a sense of humor, right? We're going to find out.
At least ask him. What if the
We'll
foreskin?
find out.
What if the foreskin was reborn into somebody else? And it
May
has
the
a-
foreskin be with you. Okay,
Are we ready?
this is incredible. Stand here because I want John. Does my hair really look like that? This is.
Hi, John.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm good.
So we just had a batshit crazy preview to the show. And we started talking. Jan was recalling a story when you read her husband and told him things that nobody but the two of them knew. And they were, skeptics. And they are skeptics no longer?
No longer.
No longer skeptics. Okay. So we start going around the table talking about, I don't know how.
Oh no, because I said it was
Yes.
for.
It was
you
for
told him where to find the talus for his son's breast. For my son's breast. You actually told him where it was in the closet. Okay.
in his deceased father's
So
closet.
we started talking about breasts.
So we started talking about the bris, and I started explaining to our listening audience what a bris is, and then we started talking about circumcisions, and then Albert said that his partner Kyle is still mad at his parents for taking his foreskin.
Yes, he holds
away.
a grudge.
He holds a grudge because he is upset that he no longer has a foreskin. So here is the question. And then we will get into serious matters. But the question is, have you ever connected with a foreskin?
No,
I don't believe I could actually add that to the roster of my abilities. No, I don't feel like I've successfully done that.
Our whole thing was like,
Kyle would like to know if it misses him too.
Anybody can connect with the foreskin. My money's on John Edwards.
Do you think sex would be better?
Okay, that is the other question. Albert, ask John Edward your question.
Well, the question is Kyle's theory is that sex would be better with the foreskin. And he misses the foreskin.
John, you've talked
John, I'm
to
really
a lot
sorry
of
that this all started.
You've spoken to I promise you this podcast does get exponentially more normal. You have spoken to a lot of departed people.
I have.
You must have people with and without foreskin. Are any of them giving you any intel right now?
I could tell you that I've had people who have lost a lot of body parts come through, and none of them really care about said body parts. Kind of not who they are from a conscious
It's
standpoint.
good. No, that's good to know. So what you should know is that you should tell.
I'm going to tell Kyle.
Kyle to rest assured
His foreskin
from
does not miss
all
him.
of the dead people before him.
Yes.
Nobody cares about their foreskin.
Okay, great.
Okay, he's the only one thinking about it.
Maybe he'll give up the grudge.
By the way, he's a little long in the tooth to be worried about his foreskin.
turning 48 this week.
I mean, for God's sakes, John.
Albert, who's the Joseph around that?
Oh, who's the Joseph?
In my life, my middle name is Joseph.
Gotcha. So is that after your mom's side of the family?
I don't. Yeah. Well, there are a bunch of Josephs on my mom's side. Yes.
And mom's still here?
Mom is still here. Yeah.
So she just had the health issue, or no?
She just had a pretty scary health issue like a week ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And her mom's passed, correct?
Yes.
Right. So her mom's around you, and also like around her, just to be like, I see what's taking place.
Wow.
Did you get this? If I say something that's uncomfortable, you guys can do what you want with it, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is not live, right?
Yeah, no, it's not live.
I'm not
Don't
uncomfortable
worry.
by
Don't
anything.
worry.
So they're making me feel like you need to watch either like the credit card fraud or the credit scam or some type of credit issue.
Okay.
So I don't know if hypothetically you were going through a conversation with your mom and you found out that,
No.
somebody got her social security information, and there's a credit card. You may want to look. I feel like somebody needs to look at their credit card stuff.
I'll look into it.
Like fraudulent stuff.
That's wild. I was telling them on the way up here that a week ago at dinner, my grandfather, her father, kind of came into me in this very visceral way, which I've never felt before. And it really freaked me out. And it took me 5 minutes to be able to speak after that. And it was because he was very protective over her, and she was in the hospital at that time. So it's interesting that you bring up her mom, because her mom was also equally as,
And then is the dad the one, like your grandfather's the one that had the food business and the food background? Is that the side of the family?
My grandfather was coffee. On the other side, my dad's father ran a very successful coffee business in New York City.
So, yeah, he's around you because I'm feeling the food connection. Like somebody who worked in the business of food, and that's the side of the family where there was a twin or they had twins, right?
My sister has twins.
Yeah, that's just the validation of your family letting you know that they're around.
Wow. And the food thing is just the entire thing.
That's also
just so you know.
Very big Italian
talk about.
Food is not actually.
There's never
it's not really their business, but it's big business.
Yes.
The food industry is supported by Albert's family.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, John.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow.
I just show up. I'm just the phone.
Wow.
That's amazing. It's
That's
really
intense.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
We were not prepared to start off with a reading.
That was wild.
But you have to understand, John, Albert, as I do, we both have very big Italian families. They are very verbose, and they will not be ignored, particularly if a medium is on the line.
Yeah,
they will.
Listen, they don't care if you're doing TV. They don't care if you're doing a scientific experiment. They're like, hello.
They elbow their way, and they're in. I believe they're all in heaven, elbowing the other. We had Tyler Henry here not long ago, and Kelly Burkhart, our talent booker, got her husband's ashes. Here, they were sitting on my lap. Literally, I've got 15 pounds of ashes. This man did not weigh 15 pounds alive, but here he was in ash form, sitting on my lap. And all Tyler could do was talk to Albert's relatives.
And your grandmother.
And my grandmother.
And your grandmother.
My grandmother, who's been dead for 51 years, she had to vocalize. And I was like, of course.
But where there's love, there's connection. When I was doing the University of Arizona studies, right, we were doing double-blind studies to kind of verify the validity. Laboratory, the whole 9-year-old. Mm-hmm. So it was a third time, I believe, I was there. And every time you do some type of study, they have to replicate the data and extend. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the room with other, there's a person I'm supposed to read and a scientific moderator. They're only allowed to say yes or no. That's it. So then the time's up, and then the sitter that I'm reading has to move on to the next room, and another sitter comes in and sits down. Except one problem. The previous sitter's grandmother would not stop talking. Would not stop.
That's your grandmother.
The scientific moderator said, well, she's messing up the study. She needs to go. I went, well, then you make her go. I don't have that kind of power.
You sage her out the door.
Yeah.
It's funny because we were talking with John on the talk show.
Yeah.
And the whole way he met this FBI agent, Robert Hilland, and this book, Chasing Evil, we were talking about it before you signed on, is so fascinating to us. And we just think that it's a must read for everyone, no matter what your genre is. It is a must read.
Thank you.
But, this FBI agent was a huge skeptic, did not believe in what John was doing. He heard you on the radio, correct?
Yes. My first passion was radio. I liked it because it was live, and I couldn't be accused of editing, right? So it was live. People called in. It showed the validity. And I had been a repeat guest on multiple morning shows, specifically in Manhattan, the same show. So he heard me on that show. It was the Scott and Todd Big Show on WPLJ here in New York.
Of course.
And
Big show.
Yep. And I guess one time too many. And he decided, you know what? This guy's annoying me. I don't like the fact that they're putting him on the radio. I'm going to try to expose him as a con. I'm going to use my investigative, prowess to be able to do that. And he contacted my office. Cut to when we meet. And he actually came with a legitimate case, and he brought actual items from that case. And he also brought control items. He went around the office and got items from people that were affiliated with him, but not with this case. And he wanted to see, would I be able to discern the difference between what was part of the case and what wasn't. And I proceeded to do what's called psychometry. Psychometry is where you hold on to an object and you're able to read energy from that object. And there's two types of psychometry. There's objective psychometry or subjective psychometry. And because of that, I always tell people, if you're ever going to see a medium, never give a medium an object that belonged to someone who passed, and never give them a photo of someone who passed, because they could actually read the energy accurately, but it doesn't mean you're actually making a connection with that person. Wow. So it was actually that first meeting where he and I met that we kind of forged what started as an untrusting relationship, because I wasn't sure why he was there and he didn't trust me at all. Where information came through about that case, as well as then about him personally, that became later validated. And then that sent us on a journey of exploration and investigation, hence Chasing Evil.
And you were sort of reluctant to work with police in the past.
I still am.
Can you explain the reluctance?
Sure. My dad was a New York City cop, a career military guy who was borderline cynical, did not believe in psychics. My mom's entire family, the Italian side, used to have psychics come to the house all the time, card reading, seances, astrologers, you name it, they did it. And my dad's rule was make sure my son is not around any of that shit. And my mom did. My mom made sure I was never around. I was always away and out when that was happening. My mom and dad separated and divorced. I moved into my grandmother's house, which was the hub of paranormal activity in the family. And now I was between the ages of 12 and 15 around said subject matter. And my mom would say, if you talk to your father, make sure you don't tell him that this is happening. I don't want to hear it. No problem. Didn't matter. The role of my father was being played by me. I used to rip apart all the readings of the people when they would come out of the room. You know, I would joke around and be like, let me guess, the card reader said you're going to Florida. And you'd be like, yes. I'd be like, of course you're going to Florida. You live in New York. Why are you never going to Nashville? Right? It's either Florida or Aruba. So I was that person. And then I had a reading, and that reading shifted me. But my dad said, when I started doing this against his better, judgment, he said, make sure that 1, you don't sully my name. And 2, make sure that I never find out you're working with the police. Don't embarrass me.
But now they need you. I mean, law enforcement, when they really want to solve a cold case, it seems like you are the top name on the list.
So I jokingly say that I did not work for the police and I did not work for the FBI. I worked for a different 3-letter organization called the BOB, because my co-author's name is Robert. So I worked for the BOB. And I'm going to tell you, Kelly, the interesting thing about that is that when Bob and I started our journey, and that's what it feels like. It was a journey, one of transformation for both he and I. So there's a personal journey in this, as well as the chasing evil part of it. I never said, oh my God, this is fun. I never said that this is something that I want to do as a career. To me, it was a sense of duty to help him on what he's doing. So kind of like if I was a vocal coach for somebody on American Idol, I'm not interested in performing on American Idol, but if I have the ability to help that person with what their abilities are, and that's all I did. I amplified what he does. I don't foresee myself being that person with other police departments or other agencies. He might, and if he gets tapped into it, I could see me being tapped into him. But this isn't going to be on the next episode of, John Edward trying to solve crimes.
I understand. I'm just saying, you're saying you helped, amplify what he does, but you really helped. I mean, I would say this is forget American Idol. This is some Mass Singer shit. You know what I mean? This is
it really was. It was like the Mass Psychic, because when we first started, working with each other, I said to him, I go, I'll try to help. I was like, just don't use my name anywhere. And the joke was, no worries, I want to keep my job. So it was it was perfect. It was a perfect kind of a connection. There was a gentleman named John Smith who his 2 wives went missing. His first wife went missing, and then his second wife went missing. And it was that specific case that he came to me to see if I would be able to help. And he brought the second wife's articles, things that belonged to her. And that was the case that became the glue for us. It's we were in this energetic throuple. It was this woman, Fran, Bob, and myself. We're trying to kind of bring some type of closure to her life. Along that journey, with the information that got revealed, Bob was able to actually find the first wife, and Bob was able to put this gentleman in prison. So he got as he puts it, a really bad guy off the streets.
Yeah.
And there was that case. But along that case, there were all these other moments through our friendship and working together, I got pulled into.
So take us to the murder of Annie. Is it Lee or Lay?
Lee. It was Annie Lee. I was on tour in Ireland. As I'm, 6 hours ahead, I guess, at the time, Bob and I were on the phone, and he was brought in to that case, right? So he wasn't, I don't think he was the lead person on that case, but he was brought into that case. And while we were talking, I used to work in a hospital. And so I was seeing laboratory related stuff. So I was directing him through my frame of reference with what I was seeing. Do you see this? Do you see that? Do you see this? Do you see that? So he's on the phone with me, kind of going all around this like laboratory area, and kind of took him to a specific place where I got zoned in on. And this is the same thing I would do if I'm working with a client, right? If I'm doing a private reading, if I'm doing a group, I may do a house tour. Like on Crossing Over, we had like 2 episodes that were like compilations of John Edward does a house tour. I was doing a lab tour, and I was kind of like seeing what was where and kind of saying, it feels like she's like right here, like she's in this area. And they had looked in that area, and there were some kind of like clues, pointers that took me there, that took him there, but they weren't able to find her. And the next day they found her where it was that I was directing them, and Bob was kind of getting them to look.
It's incredible.
And I'm on purpose kind of giving you the overview because
I want people to read the book. No, people have to read the book. They have to read the book. You also like got a confession from, I remember this story. It is so weird. This horrible dogfighting ring that was run by this NFL player, Michael Vick. You also like got a confession from, I remember this story. It is so weird. This horrible dogfighting ring that was run by this NFL player, Michael Vick.
So again, on an episode of Bob and John Chase Evil, I get a phone call, and he said, I have to do a polygraph, because he was a head lead, he taught polygraph. He was like the lead person on polygraphs. And he and I were having a conversation. He said, I'm about ready to do something. Can you give me a window of, can you give me an area? Like, what's going to crack this? Like, what do I need to do? Like, what, and that's what, again, I would do for a banker, a lawyer, a doctor, a housewife, a student. I get insights into what's happening in the person's life, and then say, here's where I can help you. And then I equally have the moments where I get nothing. But in this example, I was shown, bring up, I believe it was football, and get the conversation to navigate around that.
Like, you had the information psychically, but you knew how to,
right,
conversationally.
If you know me, you know how psychic it actually was. I'm sports
illiterate.
Illiterate, completely sports illiterate.
The football came to you, but you were able to like navigate a conversation around it.
It's like when I get construction information in a reading, I have a friend who's a contractor, and he looks at me and goes like, you can't hammer a nail. Like, how do you know that?
The case with the little boy,
right.
I think Noah, right? His Noah Tom. That really tug on my heartstrings, especially because you guys are both fathers.
Yep. Yeah, that probably, out of all of these stories, that one was the one where I felt like I lost my objective professionalism and felt more like paternal urgency. Like my energy was different with that one. As you can see in the story, when I'm like asking him, like, can you go out, at midnight now to go check the site? It's
really, I would think that all like cases involving children probably hit differently. Do you ever find yourself watching, like, I was watching this documentary called Amy Bradley is Missing. Have you heard of this documentary? This woman that went overboard on a cruise ship or disappeared from a cruise ship?
I've heard about it from a lot of people now.
Are they asking? Are they all asking you for your input?
A lot of people, yes, but not people that would matter. Just people in general, like you need to do this, or you need to. I'm like, I don't do that. When I say I don't do that, I legitimately don't do that. I kind of have like a lot of rules when it comes to the world of energy, and that is like, just because I could do something doesn't mean I should. So it's like if I was ever going to be around people, I'm never going to read for them unless I'm in the right proper position like this, where I've been given the opportunity ahead of time where they say it's okay. Otherwise, it's never okay to enter someone's vibration without their consent. And I kind of feel that way about everything, like energy wise. Just because I could doesn't mean I should. Like, I used to work in the deli, and sometimes if I go to the deli, I see people like not doing things in a way that would be like efficient, and I want to jump behind the counter and make my own egg sandwich. It's like,
but you wouldn't do that, right?
Right, but that would be inappropriate,
Crossing
even though
a
I would make
boundary.
it quicker, faster, and better.
Yeah. It's funny because like when I saw that documentary, I was like, I bet she probably, if she's no longer among the living, and I don't know,
Right.
she probably communicates with John Edward all the time. He'd be the first person. He'd be the first call I'd make. He'd be the first person I would haunt.
So here's the interesting thing about that. When September 11th happened, I was actually filming Crossing Over.
Mm-hmm.
I got a barrage of condolences and sympathy cards to the studio, to the point that, I know you know this, right? With television, you just don't trust networks, right? You don't know what they're doing or saying. Right. So in my mind, I'm like, did they like say that I personally lost someone on September 11th? And everybody assured me no. I go, why am I getting condolences? Like, I didn't lose anybody in the building or on the plane. This is kind of weird. One woman said, I want you to know I'm praying for you. The amount of people that you must be being bombarded by must be overwhelming. Yeah. And when she said that, I was like, oh, all these people think like I'm just constantly, on. I'm constantly getting that.
That's what my mind conjures up, is that if a tragedy happens,
right,
you must go, or something.
No, it's the opposite. Like I could objectively be just a person going, oh, that's really sad, or be in my personal feelings about it, as opposed to switching into my professional side of it.
Got it. That's interesting.
And there's a difference. Like, so I always tell people, like, when you see psychics that are like on the internet going, when a celebrity dies, oh, I'm channeling this person. Mm-hmm. No, you're not.
Right.
No, you're not. Right. Why would that person come to you? Like, why would anybody go to any medium unless there's a link? There's got to be a link. There's got to be a connection. Otherwise, it's just somebody, reading something energetically, no different than what I said at the beginning. It's like how much he was.
Okay. When Tyler Henry was here, he was saying that his reading, like he was saying the opposite of you. Like he can't like go to a theater. He can't, air travel is hard for him because there's so many things going on around him, so many voices happening. You have yours is completely different, right?
I can only speak for myself, and I can tell you that I've been doing this since I'm 15. And the most important thing is to, one, keep your ego in check and recognize it's not about you. Mm-hmm. It's about the subject matter when you're doing it. Mm-hmm. And from an energetic standpoint, I think you have to learn your craft. You have to make sure that you are protecting your energy, and that if you say no, it's not going to happen. Like there's no such thing that you're so psychic. And I say this to anybody who's been doing this, there's no such thing as I'm so psychic that I can't turn it off. There's just no such thing. That's a choice.
Yeah. Got it.
So when I'm traveling, sure, if I'm around people energetically, I don't like crowds. So I don't want to be in crowds. I won't go to places with crowds because I could feel the energy of the crowd, but I'm not being bombarded by voices and people coming through, because that would mean that I have to open up to that.
Right.
I would have to choose.
So you're in control of it.
Right. So think like a singer or an instrument. That instrument has to be in tune so that when somebody's going to play it, it's ready to go. Mm-hmm. But I'm not always singing. I'm not always going to be on. Mm-hmm. So I'm the opposite. Like, you have a germaphobe. I'm like an energetic germaphobe. I'm going to be kind of.
I love that analogy. That speaks to me profoundly. Energetic germaphobe. I think that if I was a psychic, I'd be, what they would do my TV special on? It would be the unhelpful psychic. I would be closing the doors to all. I don't want to hear it, Grandma.
But think like a time and place. Like, so I always use this analogy when I'm in public, right? If you have the top oncological breast cancer surgeon in the world, right? The best in the world, you can't get an appointment. God forbid somebody's diagnosed. This is the doctor that you want. And that doctor happens to be vacationing in Miami Beach, South Beach. Right. And that doctor walks into a Publix and they're going to go shopping, and they walk down the cereal aisle. And as they're walking down the cereal aisle, there is a woman wearing a bikini top who's reaching up for whatever cereal she wants. And by visual looking at it, with the experience that this oncological breast cancer specialist has, sees what is a gross malignancy in the woman's breast. Would it be okay for that doctor to walk up to that woman and start palpating the breast and saying, hey, I'm a breast cancer surgeon, tops in the world, and you have right here a cancerous mass that you need to get taken care of? That would not be okay.
Let me tell you something. Just watching that, though, John Edward has given a breast exam or two in his day. That's all I want to say. I just watched it, and I was like, with precision.
With precision.
With complete precision.
That's a great analogy.
That is a great analogy.
Yeah.
Great
now,
analogy.
I will say this, to bring it back to Chasing Evil, I might not be able to give you anything about foreskin, but I could talk about breast implants, because one of the things that I got in the beginning of that story.
Yes.
Wait, you have to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, without giving away everything, just talk about that.
So in the original meeting of meeting Bob, and we say it in the book, it's in Chasing Evil, so I'm not talking out of class. I was able to discern the fact that this woman had hip replacement, and she had breast implants. And they showed me that there would be serial numbers that Bob would need to make sure that he knew, because I felt eventually when she's found, those serial numbers would be able to help identify her. So because that came through, it led me to believe that this woman will eventually be located at some point. And you'll find out the outcome of her being found or not when you get to the end.
And also, that is one of the reasons I decided not to get breast implants, Jan.
But wait, John, are you seeing pictures of breast implants at that point, or is someone telling you that? Like, what do you actually see?
I was actually in that. I was seeing breast implants. And the reason why I was seeing it, my background's in healthcare. So I worked in healthcare. So I have a lot of symbolic references that come from being on the clinical and the administrative side of healthcare. And at one point, I worked for an area called materials management. And that was like the buying part of the hospital, where all the salespeople would come in. And there was, they showed you what the implant looked like. So I was able to see and have a reference of what things were.
Okay, let's talk about Evolve Plus.
Sure.
Give me the driving force behind creating this platform and what it is.
So in 2004, when I left Crossing Over, I was told by my team, my guides, my spirit team, that I needed to evolve, right? And I'm a little bit of a smart ass, and I thought, like, well, isn't that what we're all here to do? Right. Like, aren't we all here to evolve? Right. Like, yuck, yuck. They didn't find that funny. And they gave it to me again. So fast forward, I in 2004, it didn't really make sense to me. Then I did another TV show. I did a 3-season show on WeTV called Cross Country. And I did that for 3 seasons, but I kind of felt, been there, done that. And when they asked me to do more of that, I politely said, thank you, but I want to teach more. So as a result of wanting to teach, I knew that where television was in 2008, they were never going to let me teach. It was just never going to happen.
Right.
Because I was leaning more and more towards like reality stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see a place for teaching in that. So I left and I launched digitally what I wanted to launch. And that didn't really exist platform-wise at the time. And that iteration of it failed miserably. So for all the psychics out there, timing is really important. You can be accurate, but timing, I was too early. There was no subscription-based anything digitally. So I had to build all of it. Cut to when that didn't work, time had to go by. And it's now what my original vision was. And it's called Evolve Plus TV. And it's a platform that is part social media where everybody has their own profile. And then we have verified creators that are on there. And it's the people that I would go to in my life, the astrologers, the past life regression people. And I brought them all together in one spot so that the people in the Evolve Plus community know these are the trusted resources. Because if you go on TikTok or Instagram, all the social medias, every person that's real that does this have a ton. I think I have over 200 cloned accounts.
Yeah.
And then these people like DM folks and they're like, I have a message for you. And people fall for that.
They fall for it every time. It's so sad. It's really sad.
So Evolve Plus is that kind of like safe space that people can go to. And there's a ton of live streams. So there's interactivity. So people can be read. So it's kind of like what we're doing right now, but people can call in, they can ask their questions. They can, be pulled up and read. Kind of a cool community.
It's a great community. Jan.
Yes.
Okay. Come over
here. Am I ready for this?
Yeah, come over here next to me. No, you stay there. Everybody's like gonna, because John said you would read anybody that's like here in the room. That. Okay. All right. So here comes Jan.
Here, sit with me. We can share a chair.
We'll share a chair.
Hi, Jan.
Hi, John.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Do you have any specific questions? Do you want an area you want me to look into? And just for anybody that's on this call, because I'm sure you have producers and sound people and whoever else on here, if I wind up reading, like I got pulled to Albert, I don't know if that's going to happen again, but whoever's on here that can hear me, I can get pulled to them.
Okay.
Okay, John, I'm going to tell you that I've never said this before, and I've taught, through the show and whatever, we've talked to a bunch of psychics. But I'm going to be open to this right now.
Do it.
Okay. My mom passed away, so just wanted to see.
That's it. So that's it.
Okay.
You stay right there.
My mom passed away, so just wanted to see.
That's it. So that's it.
Okay.
You stay right there. So if you can, just yes or no. No. One of the things that I do is I tell you what I see, what I hear, what I feel. I may misinterpret that, Jan, but I want you to kind of remember what I'm saying, because sometimes
you can say
you'll go,
anything,
"Oh,
nothing bad."
yeah,
don't worry.
But you'll say like, "Oh, that's what that was." And Kelly, your dad's living, right?
Yeah.
Did somebody just have something heart related for you?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Family's coming.
Just ignore them. Please, they never end.
That's amazing.
Sorry.
That's
and
okay.
Then,
That's hilarious.
so you said your name's Jan, right?
Yeah.
Jan, do you go by a different name too?
Sometimes I go by a different last name. Yeah. 2 different last names.
I need to address the different name, or referring to you by a different name. I also want to talk about the month of February, or the 2nd of a month. So either birthday or anniversary in February or the 2nd of a month would have some type of meaning.
Yes.
Who would be like Nan or Nancy?
Oh, this is Ashley coming through. This is for Ashley right now.
Who's Ashley?
Ashley's also
Ashley's
here. Come over here,
here.
Ashley.
Oh, she's in the room?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ashley's in the room.
That's
Hi, Ashley.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Ashley, you have the Nan or Nancy?
Yeah,
How is that tied to you?
that's my grandma that passed away.
I'm going to tell you that your Nancy is being brought through by, if it's your mom that's passed, it's Nancy's being brought in courtesy of her mom. And then what's the February connection for you, Jan?
For me, that's my birthday.
Okay. So that's just me making sure that I'm tuning into that. And then did you have some type of pressed flower or something pressed in a book?
Did you? Oh, yes, I did. I did.
Okay.
Yes.
And then did you change religions, or did you leave the religion that you were part of, or is there a shift in belief?
No.
Somebody
for me,
did.
For me, yeah.
This is,
Okay.
Yeah.
They tell me to bring that up. And then, well, this is not
Yeah,
live,
go
right?
ahead,
You guys
go ahead,
you can edit whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jan, did somebody around you have an issue with drugs?
Drugs and alcohol, yeah.
Okay. And that person's passed?
Yeah.
Okay. So whoever that is, your mom's showing me that. So they bring up the issue with substance.
Okay.
So they're telling me to bring that up. I also feel like I would be concerned from an energetic standpoint. I'm not going to say physiological yet, but if this is left unchecked, Jan, it could turn into something physiological. There's a level of uptight, keeping everything in, compartmentalizing, suppressing. I got this. It's okay. And it might be until it's not. And then it becomes something that you're going to have to kind of deal with. And one of the things that I always tell people, always, is that the universe is like, your high school chemistry equation. You have to balance things. And if we don't do the balancing, the universe does the balancing for us. I want you to find a way to root yourself. I want you to find yourself a way of grounding yourself, to release some of the stuff that you're carrying. I don't know if you had to make a decision to sell a property, or if you felt like you had to let go of something. But I feel like they don't care about things of the physical world. They care about the connections and the emotions about that.
They just told us that the house that we're renting, they're selling it. Now we have to find a new house.
God, just move in here with me.
I want you to know that I feel like there's I feel like your mom's got a younger male that's with her. Who would I see as being Bobby or Billy for you?
Bobby or Billy? Oh, that's her brother. Her brother, Billy.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is Billy living?
No, he also passed.
So did he pass younger than her? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need you to know that she's got the younger male that's with her. So that's just a placement for me. And then they back it up by showing me that. And then August is important. So I don't know if there was a passing in August, or if somebody got sick in August, but there's something about the month of August that they're highlighting. And is your biological dad living?
My dad's living.
Okay. And is there a little difficult energy there?
No, I mean, no, my dad's my guy.
Okay, that's happy. I'm happy to hear that. I'm feeling a
Her
contentious
dad
energy.
doesn't like me. So there's that.
I'm sorry. Say it again, Kelly.
Her dad doesn't like me, so that's probably
That's
the
not
energy
true.
you're feeling.
He doesn't like
No,
all the
no,
dirty stuff we talk about, like foreskins. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
With
The other
it's
girl-
probably
the
talking
other
about
girl-
me. Yeah, probably talking about me because I haven't talked to my dad in over 15 years.
Yeah, that's the contentious relationship that I'm looking for. I kind of feel like, again, the message that I want everybody to take away is that the universe balances out equations, and whether or not you deal with your dad and the issues there, you're going to deal with those same lessons that are connected to it, right? So I'm all about what's the lesson, right? What can we navigate? So let's say you said that your issue with your dad was ABC, whatever that is. You may never talk to your dad in this lifetime again. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have to deal with the lesson of ABC again. So it's important to kind of say, what is it that I was supposed to learn? And let me go figure out how to do that, because it's going to come up in some other capacity.
Okay.
Right? And is Nancy connected to your mom's side? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I called my grandma, so it's Nan. That's what I called her, but her name's Sheila, and my mom's name is also Sheila.
Gotcha. I need to put that over there around mom, just kind of like letting you know.
Wait, John's looking at something.
Yeah.
Something's in his head.
He's thinking.
And who had the cancer, Jan?
My husband's father had cancer.
And do you know if he was misdiagnosed? Like they were treating him for one thing and then
There
they
was a
found
lot
out
of
that-
things they were treating him for. Yeah.
Okay, because I don't feel like it's clear-cut diagnosis.
Yeah, there was a lot of things going on.
And was there a drinker on that side of the family?
My mom was drinking a lot.
Okay, before she passed?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, Jan, this would be your mom then of doing that. Did you take all her clothes? Did you take some of her clothes?
I did.
Okay. Did you make a comment about something going like, where the hell would she wear this? Or why would she even have this? This is not her style. Like, I feel a little judgy. That's the feeling that I have. I feel like there's a judgment.
So the thing about my mom is everywhere we would go, she would sit us down and talk about people's clothes and be judging about it.
So that was her hobby.
Yes.
Okay. And then I don't really like talking about jewelry because I feel like my mom's gone 30 something years. I have all the jewelry in my top drawer,
Yeah.
but your mom's insisting I bring up her jewelry. So I don't know if you have like that, I'm supposed to say, acknowledge that, but she's talking about not just valuable jewelry, but like maybe fake jewelry that was valuable to her, like something that was chunky, something that was like a big, flowery looking brooch that you would probably never wear.
Yeah.
But when I see, and then the little bird statue, do you have that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm
Yeah.
literally bringing that in tomorrow to show you. No, there's a little bird statue. Yes.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
acknowledging the little bird statue as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is where I tell people validation is important, right? Because I can give you like mother-daughter relationship dynamics
bring in
that
the
may or may not
jewelry.
apply to you, but to support the reality that this is your mom coming through with the other woman's family, it's just her way of letting you know that she's around. She's good. She's okay.
Thank you, John. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
I'm literally just got the news about my house. I didn't even tell you about that.
No, you
I
didn't.
literally have to find somewhere to live. That is
You can move
incredible.
in here. You can live here with me. That was amazing. I don't mind telling you, John, every time you come on the show or anytime we've spoken to a person who is a medium on this podcast, I wait for Jan's mom to come through. Like we've all been waiting for Jan's mom to come through. And Jan is the most, like you acknowledged and saw, the most stoic person I've ever met in my life. Literally unflappable, but never puts everyone else in front of herself.
Well, then I'm honored that she allowed that little, part to come in.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry you had to deal with my relatives jumping in. But while
It's all
we're
good.
while we're at
Kyle's
it,
foreskin.
while we're at it, let me ask you, since they were
Yeah.
there, since people were talking, can you give me, and again, this is like just between us, can you give me an insight? My youngest son,
What's his birthday?
his birthday is February 24th.
Okay.
He'll be 23 in February on the 24th. And he has been agonizing. He has a choice to make. He really has a choice to make. And he doesn't know what to do. And he keeps delaying and delaying and delaying and delaying the choice. Does anybody up there hanging around?
So here's how we handle this. We don't handle it in a mediumship way. We handle it in him having his chart done. And the reason why you want to have his chart done is you have the astrologer provide him with the insights that his chart is emanating, right? And it gives him a window of, okay, what is the lesson in this choice?
Okay.
Like what is the positive? What is the negative? And I'll give you an example why. My son is very, very, very math and sciencey. And when he was in high school, I was concerned that his very math and sciencey brain was going to become oppositional to my non-math and science brain,
Right.
spiritual. Right? And we're really, really close. So I was concerned about that dynamic falling apart. So I was like, well, the closest to math and science in my world is astrology, and I don't do that. So I sent him to an astrologer. He sent somebody, his name is Sam Reynolds. I sent him to Sam Reynolds. And when Sam was done with his reading, Justin came out to my wife and I and said, apparently I'm going to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. And we were like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then he talked about like possibly wanted to go med school and all that. And then he like walked off in the other room. And my wife looked at me and said, should we dissuade him? And I was like, why would we dissuade him?
Right.
And she made a joke and said, have you seen him cut a steak? I was like, it's okay. I was like, it's all good. But I will tell you that my son is going to be 23 in September. He's in medical school and cardiology is where he's going.
Wow.
And I actually said to him, because, I think being skeptical is important, right? I was like, are you doing this because of what Sam said? He goes, no, I'm doing it because it's what I want to do. And Sam saw it.
Right. I feel like, honestly.
Can I just say 1 second? Yeah. Wait, Kelly, is R like Rose connected to you?
I mean, there's so many R's. There's a lot of R's.
There's a dog with them. There's a dog there.
Oh, yeah, that's my dog. That's my dog, Chewy. She just passed away. My dog, Chewy. Yeah, she just passed away. My mom's maiden name was Riley, so I think maybe.
And is Grandma passed on mom's side?
Grandma's passed on my mom's side. Yeah.
And anybody an educator or teacher?
She was a teacher and a librarian. And,
yeah, so that woman has your dog.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yep, that woman has your dog.
Of course she does.
And do you have that dog out in a frame, like a real frame?
I do. I have her feet her feet are mounted in clay. I have her ashes.
What would be in a silver, like a sterling silver frame?
I have I have a freakish amount of frame pictures of my dog. So
okay. Well, no, I find that no offense. I don't mean not to be judgy, but in today's society, everybody like has their phones and that's their photos, right? So whenever I get stuff like framed photos,
I have framed photos of my dog.
I think that's cool. Well, your dog knows you have framed photos.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm so happy about that because Mike, I mean, this is not probably a secret to you, but Mark and I have been extraordinarily fortunate in our lives. We have not had, like I like to say, recent loss. There's been a lot of illness, but not recent loss. Our departed decades ago, so I'm always surprised when somebody shows up,
And is he working on stretching? Is he working on doing things that are more stretching related?
Yes.
I'm supposed to tell him he's smart for doing what he's doing.
Yeah, he needs to.
Yeah. I don't know if his psoas muscle or his or if his sciatica is kicking in, but
yes, that's amazing. That's crazy.
Can I just ask you real quick
this is Ashley again.
Hi, Ashley.
Hey, when you saw my grandma, was she okay?
Yes, I've never had somebody come through and say that they're not okay, and that's what I like to tell people. Like, buyer beware if you hear a psychic or a medium say like they're stuck, they're not okay, they need prayers, they're this, they're that. I'm like, I don't know. I've been doing this for 40 years and I haven't had anybody say like, usually when you hear that, it's because the person can't make the connection. So you're good.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I think probably like once people pass over, they're done with all the bothersome shit.
Yeah, they're at a different level. Do you ever see that video that they pop online from some time? They talk about the deepest pool that people learn how to free dive in. Mm-hmm. So it's actually a symbol for me when I see that. When you see a person like dive down to the bottom of the pool, and then at the bottom of the pool, there's another opening that you can go even deeper and then down further. And that's how they teach people to like, I don't know, with their lungs and free diving. That's what I see when people ask me questions about how they feel about something in spirit. It's really about them showing that they have a deeper understanding in a way that most people can't go. So they're not bothered by the everyday stuff.
Thank you. This is actually you don't understand. This is very helpful.
Well, good. Well, what's my job?
Gosh, Jan.
Thank you, John.
As usual, you have like really You've brought us all to a place where we're completely silent. I've never heard Albert this
I
quiet
do have
in his
one
life.
question, John.
Sure.
And my question is, when I feel like I was explaining earlier, my grandfather viscerally coming to me, like, how do you discern how do you discern whether it's imagination or it actually is happening?
So the reality is that you're questioning it, right? So the fact that you're questioning it is really healthy. It's really good to question everything, right? So I want everybody to be skeptical. Anybody that's listening to this, I want them to be skeptical. There's a difference between skepticism and cynicism. Cynicism says nothing's possible. Skepticism says, show me. I'm not sure. So the fact that you're questioning something allows you to go deeper. And when you go deeper, you ask those questions, you can get those answers. So keep doing that. Regarding how do you discern the difference? If somebody was to take water on the table and pour it on you, how would you know you're wet? You feel it. Right? You would actually feel it. There would be a difference in energy. That's in the physical world. In the energetic world, they're going to rely on the same type of senses. So you may have that phantom feeling of something, but because you're familiar with the person, you're familiar with how they feel, you're familiar with how they make you feel, all they're doing is making you feel them in that moment. So you described that. And when you described it, you made me feel a sense of urgency about your mom. So that was like grandpa coming through to you to give you that same type of sense of paternal urgency about his child, because even though it's your mom, it's his daughter, right? So love and connection. It doesn't matter which way we're looking at it.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
John, thank you for doing our humble podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We thoroughly enjoyed it. And for everyone listening, don't forget, you must, run, don't walk. Get John's book, Chasing Evil. You won't regret it, I promise. Check out his platform, Evolve Plus. John, all the best to you.
Thank you.
If you ever need anything from us, although I don't know what, but if you ever need anything from us,
I might need a frame.
Yeah, listen, I'm your girl. I got a lot. You know what? I can take one photo of Chewy out of the frame. I can take one. Thank you so much, John. Take care.
Thank you. Right. Anytime you need me, I'm here.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
That was so helpful.
I love that we asked him about the foreskin.
I bet you he's never been asked about a foreskin.
You know what's funny? You know that thing never in this lifetime where you're like, that's never been said to anybody before. Like those things, never before in the history of the world have people sat in a podcast and asked a medium if he could connect with a foreskin. That is the first time in the history of the world.
He loved every second of it.
But that's the first time.
He loved it as much as Jen's father hates it.
Richard, we're sorry.
Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa is a production of Melojo Productions. From Melojo, our team is Kelly Ripa, Mark Consuelos, Albert Bianchini, Jan Chalet, Seth Bronquist, Roz Therian, Devin Schneider, Michael Halprin, Julia Desch, and Team Radio Andy, Lisa Mantaneo, Scott Marlowe, Jake Getz.